This broadcast is inappropriate for all ages, right here on the Watch Spot. I am Kamurai. And how we doing? Due to the ridiculous number of technical difficulties we've had at the cause of Windows 10, primarily, and then OBS not getting along, I had gone to the OBS multi-platform and hoped that would be nice and stable, which it was. However, when I went to set settings, because I have no idea how up-to-date it is compared to the new YouTube live streaming, I was going to do it through there, just to YouTube, just to try it out on there and just do a nice simple thing. But it has YouTube, but it doesn't have any custom. So I know I can't hit Ustream. In fact, I'll bring it back up. And we'll look at that real fast, and then we'll get into things and stuff. Because there's a lot to talk about, especially since I was sick, and I did a lot of watching stuff. So settings, that's what we want to look at. Just real quick. Custom streaming server, I'm an idiot. So next time you see me, I will be using that, and it will work pretty fine. And I'll probably be doing multiple streams because I know I can do it. It just needs to not crash for no good reason. I also have a slightly new overlay. I've updated some things. It looks a little stupid, honestly, but hey, let's get into what we've been watching because, quite frankly, poop on a stick is more interesting than hearing me talk about technical stuff when we're supposed to be talking about media. Rooster Teeth, let's start with what is not around anymore because there hasn't been a lot going on for television that I can think of. Though I did find out a couple things were happening that I wasn't aware of, so I get to go back and catch up on that, which is really a pain in the ass because I've been, when I was sick, I was binge watching other things. And I could have been binge watching those. The No. I normally don't talk about the No by itself because there's too much Meg on it for me. But one of the things they do that I really like is Gaming Club, and there was not a Gaming Club this past week because they delayed it. With interference of PAX and all the traveling going on, they managed to pick, I think, Bastion, and they wanted to make sure that everyone could play it. So I think they were going to do a 2-week game club for that. I really wish they'd picked a second one to do an interim game club for the people who are there because there was enough people there to do it. And then they could have done Bastion as the following week. And that's not something they're going to do a lot, I'm sure, but it is what it is. So there's that. There is no On the Spot. I don't know why I don't have On the Spot up, but On the Spot has concluded for the season or whatnot, so we're not seeing that right out of them right now. Red vs. Blue, the final episode of Red vs. Blue Season 13 has aired, so now you should be able to go back and watch everything in its proper form, back-to-back. If you are in the Austin area, they're doing a live showing at the Alamo. Not a live showing, a theatrical showing at the Alamo. So watch it and get caught up, and then when you get a chance, either buy the DVD. Which I really got to see if they have digital download. That would actually make a lot of sense. But I'm super excited to see this. This is not the first one that Miles did, but this feels like it's much more in Miles' vein. It feels like the first big event one. Not to belittle the other 2 seasons, but I think he kind of had a rough start compared to 6 through 10 because those are fucking phenomenal. And now the animation group is definitely working harder and better than everything, and it looks better than the machinima. They're very close to just dropping the machinima altogether, I think. Because they're going to have enough assets around to not bother. Because honestly, the whole point of doing the machinima was because they didn't have the ability to do these things. Now they do, so why do they need the previous? I think they still going to keep it around or the vein, at least the look. But I think I could see it dropping off eventually. I just don't think it's gonna last. Either that or 343 is gonna up their game a lot. So let's get past that. RTAA. This is one of my more favorite RTAAs. The ones with the thing, because them talking about robots is fun because I like talking about robots. I'm totally with Chris Damaris. Like robot cars are the future. And then Bernie likes to poke fun at Chris, but it's just what it is. It's no big deal. Hey, Tux. How are you, kitty? So I like that. So that's Rooster Teeth. I did. You know what? I think I forgot to mention this. If it was the week before, I would imagine it'd be this past week because I was ill. I've been watching like just. I'll put it on for like 20 minutes or whatever, or I'll just let it rotate through in the background, and I'm not really paying attention. But going through some of the Achievement Hunter and the, I did this kind of funny too. I put them on the list. Kind of funny, Game Kids, Achievement Hunter, and it's really not as bad as I thought. I really don't have time to dedicatedly watch those things because I'm still behind on doing bad summaries and my RPG shows. So that I'd much rather focus on catching up with those. If I ever managed to get done at this point. I think if I wasn't sick last week, I would have really made some progress. So hopefully this week we'll do it. Elsewise in the full screen family, Tabletop is no more. They released the gag reel, and then they are on the hiatus for I think he said until January. I know they get together, like they go. So what's going to happen is they're going to go on hiatus. They're going to film in the fall. They're going to go into post production, and then they're going to release in January or February or whatever, beginning of the year. So that's how they work that. What was I going to say? Okay, so that's that. Co-optitude. Last week was actually pretty good. They had Temple of Osiris, which is a Tomb Raider game, but not really. And this week they did Co-optitude Magica, and they did 3 players. I would have imagined for this, I think it goes to 4, that you would do 4, but maybe it was too hectic with just the 3 of them. Marzipan came back in to help. And I just noticed that on the thumbnail on the website, they've got the faces wrong, because Felicia was definitely the red, and then Marzipan was green, not yellow. But it's just supposed to be a goofy thing. Interesting. But no, they had fun. It seems like a really neat game. I'm wondering if I have it, because it's very possible that I just have it and I don't know it. But it looks a lot like Original Sins, the one where like it's super. You can interact with everything. Like there's a whole thing where they're like killing villagers and stuff. I don't know why they insist on putting it there. Critical Role and Titan's Grave are still going strong as far as I know. The Flog, that's back. If you haven't been paying attention, she had a pole dancing thing a little while ago. She was playing with a theremin. She did a cooking thing with very sweet lady. I just can't remember her name. Played Clara in the Guild. They're dressed up in like Renaissance fair, and they were going to make some kind of haggis or something. So the Weird Lane's still going strong. I got new people in the mix. Sammy is coming on board to help out with comics. I know Danny's busy, but she's still gonna be doing her poll list as far as I know. Looks like Mary, one of her newer Weirdlings, has got a guest spot on that one. I just feel bad. I'm behind on watching Danielle's stuff, let alone Danny's. But I did watch the new episode of Heroes of Awesome, so that is available. So after this, go watch that. It's a good time. They're so much fun on there to hang out with and watch. I'm really starting to think Abby's the real hero out of the group, and like that group just should not have taken a paladin. The cleric without a cause is turning into a fun kind of anti-hero for him, but Abby seems to be causing problems, and I know they all love her, but meh. Discworld's stupid. Not the series, not the book series. Just I don't think I've returned my discs in 2 weeks because I don't really want to deal with them. So I need to return them in so they don't try to charge me for them. Wet Hot American Summer. If you know the Nerdist thing at all, um, they put out way too much fucking content for me to deal with, especially stuff I don't want to deal with, and that's fine. If you like them, great. But I do like the Indoor Kids. Kumal. I don't want to mispronounce his last name, but Kumal and Emily are a married couple, and they do this podcast called The Indoor Kids. It's an audio-only podcast. I don't know if it's available via SoundCloud, but it is available on Nerdist.com, and if you go to their podcast listing, it's there. But they supposedly The Indoor Kids is a reference to the original Hot Wet American Summer, and apparently they've redone something, and it looks like they redid it true to form. They didn't modernize it at all, because it's all like smoking's cool again, and I don't know. It's a big mess. But what's funny is that they took. I don't know, I say it's funny, and it's one of my bigger problems with the show, but they took all these modern comedians and writers and stuff, and they put them in as kids, whether it be teenage camp counselors or camp students, or, attendees. Campers, there you go. And they actually did this one thing. I felt bad for the girl, because the girl was there with her role and everything, and then she goes through sudden onset puberty, and she comes out as an adult actress playing the same kid. It's like, that's sad for her, but at the same time, I didn't really want to see a 13-year-old on TV trying to pick up dudes. I don't know, especially if they're other adult type guys. But it's like really bad. They have like really bad wigs and just really campy attitudes. It's one of these shows. It reminded me a lot of They Came Together. It's a show made for writers and comedians, because they get that the writing is part of the joke. The idea that somebody would write that into a series at all would be funny. It's not straight entertainment. It's very obtuse. Let's say obtuse. I was gonna say abstract, but that's not it. It's the fact that instead of it just being like, oh, this is funny, it's like, this is funny because we know this other stuff. It's not funny adjacent. I don't want to say that, but like they put in this whole like murder plot scene, and then like this anti-government establishmentarianism thing. A lot of weird, wacky stuff. But once you get past like the first episode, you're on for the ride. You've committed. You might as well just watch everything else, because it doesn't get any better as far as any of that awkwardness. And if you just kind of accept the awkwardness and lean into the pitch a little bit, it's fine. You just go with it. It's a show. Paul Rudd, Kristen Wiig, Elizabeth Banks, Jayma Mays is in it. She's not in it much, but she's in it. It's a bunch of people that they obviously know each other. They're obviously good friends. The voice of Carl. I can't remember that old show, but he was like a gas station attendant in this other show, and as a joke, I think they put him in Family Guy as the same fucking role. No, he's a coach. That's what he was. He was a coach at the kids' school, and then I think the joke was that he retired, or he got fired from being a coach or a teacher or whatever, and went to work at a convenience store, and then he showed up as a convenience store guy in Family Guy. But he's got the just really distinctive voice. But Janine Garofalo's in it. There's a kid with a big nose from like Election, I think. I just saw him on Bored to Death too, which is actually funny that so many people showed up in that. So it's so funny to see all these people in the same show, but it's like you had all this talent, you had all this ability, and this is what you came up with. And it's because occasionally you have to go and make the thing that you want. And as writers and comedians, this is the show that they want to watch. And Kevin Smith has said it repeatedly. It's like, if you're not making things that you would want to watch, then why are you bothering to make them? Then at that point, it's just a paycheck. There's no real heart into it. Unless, I guess, you're like Michael Bay and you just like watching shit explode and hot chicks. Maybe. But after that Staten Island Summer, I had no idea what I was getting into when I clicked on this. I was like, oh, what's that? Apparently it's a thing where it's about these lifeguards are in this pool. You've kind of got the ladies' man, you've got the Uber nerd, you've got the the classy virgin, and you've got the girl who's like one of the guys, and then you've got the overbearing manager of the pool. And then like there's a lot of good just interaction between characters. There's not like a really significant plot story. It's kind of that quest to get laid before you go to college type thing, except the primary quester is the best friend, not the main character, and then it's the main character that's actually leaving to college. So, and then there's the classic like, what was it? The Jennifer Love Hewitt one, Can't Hardly Wait. The classic Can't Hardly Wait moment with like the girl that got away returning. So they mix in a lot of good tropes to kind of keep it interesting, and then it's all around this pool. So there's a couple of funny instances just based on that alone. There's If I Stay, I would normally guarantee Chloe Moretz. Anything that she's in, she's usually really good. Now you hit a gray area when you get was it Dance of Shadows, the Johnny Depp movie where he's a vampire. That wasn't an awesome movie, but it wasn't horrible either. It was kind of a movie. And then you could argue about Kick-Ass, but I think Kick-Ass was phenomenal. The new Carrie movie, I think she was wrong for that part, but I don't think she was bad in it. I think she acted very well. I think the part was wrong for her. She's got too much personality to shove down into a Carrie. And then this movie, here's the I'm going to spoil the shit out of it. Cute girl is a musical savant from she likes classical and her family likes punk rock. She meets a punk rock guy. She gets in a car accident, and then she spends like half the movie out of body experience, watching herself be in a coma and watching all her friends and family react to this. The ones that survived, and I'll be honest with you, I only know that one other person was in the car with her. I know that 2 other people weren't. I have no idea what happened with the parents. I'll be completely honest. I don't know if they're alive, dead, in the car or not. I know the brother was in the car, and I know the boyfriend was not. Yeah, but it's really depressing fucking movie. And it's like they just tried to save it at the end, and I'm not even going to tell you how it ends because. You know what? I will, just so you don't go through and bother to watch it. I had to go back to make sure it happened because I looked away and I missed it. But like at the very end, you're trying to figure out if she's just going to pass away or she's going to finally wake up, and she just goes, you know, they do out of coma, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and then Leap Year. I've seen these next couple of movies before. It's a very comforting thing to go back and watch a movie that you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. It was good. I think it was Isla Fisher, or is it Isla Fisher or Amy Adams? They get them mixed up a lot, and I don't think Netflix will take me to that thing anymore if I click it. But there's an old Irish tradition of on Leap Year. Yeah, I have to look for it. On a leap year, on Leap Day, the lady can ask the guy to marry her, and it's supposed to be acceptable. Amy Adams. So if you were an Amy Adams fan, this is a really good one. So she tries to make it on Leap Day to her boyfriend to make him a fiance, and then there's lots of stupid shenanigans. And the back cover description, we don't have back covers anymore. Oh, I guess we do for DVDs and such. But the back cover explanation is that she meets this innkeeper and has to reevaluate her life. So that's, I think, supposed to insinuate that she falls in love with the innkeeper. And I would say it's pretty accurate, and that doesn't spoil the movie because right as soon as they meet, there's this whole like, oh, they're gonna hate each other so they can love each other thing. And whatever. Okay, and then Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. This is one of the few movies I can point to and go, this movie has the perfect ending. The perfect ending. And the sad part is I always forget exactly what it was. And I don't want to ruin it because it's that good, but it takes the context of the movie to build up to that point and make it worth it. So I can't spoil it. The basic synopsis, without spoilers, is that Steve Carell is kind of this loser guy. So when a world event announces the end of the world, I really don't even remember why, but a world event's going to end the world. His wife leaves him. His best friend's wife wants to do him, and he's just kind of like running away and avoiding like everything at that point. And I think he's trying to consider suicide, but he runs into this hot neighbor. And then through circumstance, like there's a riot in the neighborhood. Her, and her boyfriend all escape. And it's just one silly will they, won't they after another of adventure between Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. And great movie. I didn't ruin anything for you. Trust me, you knew what was coming. And I really like Keira Knightley. I think she does a really good job. And Steve Carell's very good in more serious roles. He's funny, but I hate when he goes slapsticky. Like, was it Evan Almighty? Like, that's just too much for me. The Office, probably. But I didn't like the British one either, so that's a weird sign. Spooksville. I honestly don't remember what this is. I should have typed it in first. If I'm remembering correctly, it is a... What? Hold on, I'm so sorry. Like, in Spooksville, new kid Adam joins forces with two other teens to battle dark forces that have been plaguing the town for centuries. I think I clicked on this because of my stint on Amazon Prime, because there's a really good kids show there. I'll be honest. I don't know what this is. This is something I'm going to have to watch this next week and just kind of figure out. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so moving on to Hulu, because we got to get through this. Okay, so the other week I watched Married. I watched the whole first season and whatever I could of Married. The second season, which wasn't anything because there's an issue with viewing that content. And I can't remember. Oh, it's on FX Networks. That's right. But Mary is really good stuff. Go watch that if you get a chance. The first season's available on Hulu's. But some of the same cast that I really like actually showed up in Bored to Death, which is on HBO now. I'll come back to that. The X's. The X's I found from TV Land. The Jim Gaffigan shows on there. That's how I realized TVland.com was even a thing. But I kept seeing advertisements for the X's. Like, I should check that out. So since I was sick last week, yes, that's what I did. I just set it up and like laid there and moaned. And then I honestly think this is a really good thing. The whole basis for the show is that Kristen Johnson plays a divorce lawyer that backs these three guys. It's I'm going to say them from the roles you would recognize them. The guy Stewart, I don't know where the hell you'd know him from, to be honest with you. But the black guy from Scrubs, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Donald Ferguson, I think is his name. But yeah, it's that guy. And Zach Braff shows up at some point. It's really kind of a weird role for him. But and then the fat guy from Jurassic Park that got ate by the Dilophosaurus. That I can't remember his name. I had it earlier, but I can't remember his name. They all do really good on the show, so there's no insult there. And then Kelly Stables is the hot little, what's her name? Assistant to Kristen Johnson. It just like took some adjustment to get over, and maybe it's just because I have a thing for short girls, but she's almost half the height of Kristen Johnson. It's so funny to see them next to each other because she comes up to like Kristen's boobs at best. And I think that's in heels. And then there's some tall guys, like a basketball player or something, that's taller than Kristen Johnson. And then like having Eden around that character was just hilarious because like she's coming up to like belly button height. They do a lot of good stuff with that. They do not short it at all. And I think she had a real pregnancy during the show, and they used it. So these people know how to write a show for television that varies and is not on a fixed story. It's very episodic, anyways. So that helps with that type of formula. And it's not like what I normally like, and it's not what I say that. And it's not what I would ever write for a story, an episodic like this. But they do such a good job, and it's a good, cheap, feel-good thing, except for the divorce. If you're sensitive about divorce, this is not the show for you. But there's a lot of, like, finding romance, getting married. There's a ladies' guy. There's a guy who doesn't have enough, but he's got swagger. Like, he doesn't have enough physical looks, but he's got enough swagger. Then there's the guy that has enough physical looks, but he doesn't have the swagger. And then there's Donald Ferguson's character who's got the swagger and the look, so he kind of runs alpha most of the time. Oh man. I wish I remembered his name. The guy that Kristen Johnson gets involved with, one of the lawyers there. He's great. He's got kind of one of these deep raspy voices, and it's like, come on. I don't know. It's no good. It's not a good impression of him. All I could think of was Patton Warburton. I was like, think deep guy. And that's more like this. Oh, and then Superman. Is it Superman? He's not Superman anymore anyways. It's the guy who plays the Atom on the Arrow. Showed up in this in season 4. So yeah, there's 4 seasons available on Hulu. I totally recommend binging that. Like the Geeky Hostess, Tara Harris. Keep throwing that D in there. Tara Theo Harris, the Geeky Hostess. I actually recommended this on a short list of shows because she's not feeling good. If you've been to PAX, you probably have the pox. Rest up. Binge watch some Hulu. Let me know what you think about it. Yell at me. Oop, it's on this side now. At Kamurai 25 on the Twitters. Okay, and I realized that my timing for CBS is really awkward right now because the Zoo and Under the Dome are what I've been watching there. That's really all I've got going on Prime, so we're going to talk about that real fast. Love is a Battlefield. So Under the Dome comes out Mondays, Zoo Tuesdays. So that's why I think I'm usually behind. Is if I'm late, then it comes on 9 Eastern, so maybe I'm wrong. But definitely if I'm late and I haven't caught up on the Under the Dome, I'm always an episode behind. That's what's been happening there. But I think I need to talk about Legacy and Love is a Battlefield for Under the Dome. So the Resistance is getting more organized. We've got all this going on. The Action has infiltrated the Dome again. So like it's this really weird, like, is the enemy of my enemy my friend? Obviously, we can't trust each other that much because everybody has fucking weird agendas. And obviously the biggest threat is the kinship. You've got to be able to contain it. And right now the Dome is containing the kinship because the whole point was for the Dome to protect the kinship until it was ready to leave the Dome via the Queen or the second Queen or whatever. And it's slowly through these last couple episodes, progress has been being made towards that goal, and we're very concerned about what happens if we get out. And they're actually running out of oxygen because that without the egg powering things and without the amethysts, the dome doesn't actually have power, so it can't maintain itself. It can't stay porous, so it's sealing essentially, and all the oxygen inside. So it's gonna seal, and then they're gonna run out of oxygen, and they're all gonna suffocate. Which for the planet is the better option, but the people inside don't want to die, and some of them are not kinship zombies. So the resistance is working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen. As much as I want the people to come out of it and overcome, I actually do for once, because this is getting weird fast. Big Joe needs to get shot. I don't care. He's made, like, as soon as that town got sealed off, like, I'm surprised he didn't get shot. Just fact. Everyone hates him. He makes horrible fucking decisions. It's really bad. Really bad. What was I going to say? So, and then we actually get a little bit of exposition from Christine, because she has to convince Joe to help the kinship, even if he's not hooked in, because it's the best entrance for him and the resistance fighters, and the planet when it comes down to it. So that's their angle. And Christine's dying. So she's not going to be able to stay around and maintain order for much longer, to help keep Joe safe long enough to handle everything. But they've revealed, very similar to like Falling Skies, that there's actually other issues happening in the galaxy, and that Earth is actually going to be targeted. Terra is going to be targeted, and the kinship is actually the best defense that Terra is going to have against the newer threat, which is exactly what the Ishvini were kind of doing in Falling Skies. Now, you could say the Volge were the ones that were coming in to occupy and then put all the humans in reserves, or Terrans. When you start dealing with space, you have to say Terra and Terrans. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise. But the Ishvini were actually doing that as well. They were not only putting up defenses to take on the Volge, because the Volge were doing raids on them, but there was something else out there that the Ishvini were going to prepare against. They were going to use Earth as a battle station because it had resources, supplies, more slaves, or whatever you will. So I don't know, like, and that's where we left off, is that there was hints of something that's going to happen there, and I need to get caught up in Falling Skies now. I sure as hell got a bug for that. Murmuration. Okay, yeah, Zoo just got even fucking weirder. Like, they cannot make up their damn minds what they want to do with the show. It really feels like Lost again, where it's just like, oh, they think this, we'll write this. And it's the exact opposite of the X's, where the X's, I feel like they were they were changing things on the fly and adapting to their situation. I think the Zoo is creating the need to adapt when there is none. So, like, it turns out that Radeon or whatever, Raiden Global, actually hired them in the first place to investigate themselves. So it looks like everything's happening, but they've got complete control of the situation. It's fucking ridiculous. It's an idiotic plan for one, and then you've got finally got birds being communicating devices. So essentially, you've got the plant, and actually, this is the one cool part about it, is that you've got the plant. It uses a little bit of Gaia theory. You've got the planet acting as a living organism, using the animals as microorganisms, like we would think of ourselves, to kind of defend itself against us at this point. And I'm sure they're going to head towards that direction. And it's going to turn out like the mother cell is actually like a Gaia cell. So it's a Mother Earth cell, essentially. But the really interesting bit in all this is not only that the FBI is finally investigating Toussaint about the murdered FBI agent, but so they're all on the lam from the government, and they're on the land from Rain Global, mostly because The scientist guy, I can't remember his name, but he's the guy I actually like the most. Tried to do a deal for medication for his daughter and then double crossed them and still escaped, which seems insane all on its own. He's smart, but he's not like a super spy. Spooksville. Set you aside. The Gaffigan Show. Like, I feel like maybe this was an episode for comedians, because he's a comedian. It's his life, whatever. My friend the priest. Like, I get the whole thing, and I'm sure it's based off his life too. So I'm sure there's an aspect of his life where his wife like really tried to get him to be friends with the priest for a while, and it had some adverse effects on his career momentarily. But even the episode doesn't like point any fault to the priest. It's all outside perception of him. So on that, let people be who they be, but don't try to force people on other people too, because that was the weird thing. Is she was like, Jim, be friends with a priest. And that's fair of her to ask favors, but that's a really weird one. I mean, pick and choose your battles there. But it's good stuff. Good stuff overall. The X's. So the current season of X's, and I don't like that they don't show the season and episodes like they do on Hulu. I really want to force everyone to one standard where all the information is available. But the last episode was August 19th, Notting Phil. No, sorry, last week, 10 Things I Hate About You, because this comes out on Wednesdays. And the Gaffigan Show comes out on Wednesdays as well. That's right. So by this weekend, I should probably be able to go through and blast through everything. And that one was Phil had the acting gig, I think. And if I'm remembering correctly, Haskell had won a bunch of money and then lost it all. And so he's moving back into the house as the penniless pauper guy again. And then Phil had a movie role because he had been consulting. He was a consultant for being a sports agent in a movie. And then they needed a sports agent, so they just cast him for the one scene or whatever. And he managed to land himself an actress that he hated. So yay, go Phil and your swagger, buddy. Yeah. Okay, we'll do the movie first for HBO Now. My HBO Now subscription is petering out. You would think I would go ahead and do True Detective. Now, when I think that's something like when Game of Thrones starts back up, I'll go back through and do that, because I'm actually finding some value now that I force myself to go through A to Z through some of these and some of this, and they've got a bunch of good movies on there too. If you just want a movie or something, if you can't afford things, like you're just a broke college student or something, and you're like, I have my Netflix or whatever, but I really want to watch Game of Thrones. If you want to put your Netflix subscription on pause, and then go to HBO Now for Game of Thrones, totally get that. Silicon Valley's on there, so you're definitely getting at least 2 shows that will come out. There's some new shows that are coming out. True Detective is supposed to be really good, and it's got a good slew of movies. Honestly, one of the this is probably not a prime example, but I mean, like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Godzilla. But I went back and watched Hollow Man because I remember really liking this and everybody giving the movie a lot of shit. And the movie was pretty good. It's a little creepy and fucked up for the actually most of the movie. It's creepy and fucked up. But I thought it was pretty good up until the last 2/3. I was actually talking to somebody online and I'm like, oh, you won't believe this. This just happened. And oh my gosh, this. And that's just bad science. So if accepting that somebody can turn invisible or animals can turn invisible, yeah, fine, sure. Yeah, you're irritated all the time, so you get more aggressive. You feel more powerful because you have this natural advantage now. Yeah, that makes sense. But I think right around the point where that dog dies, you're just like, oh, we took a turn. And then at the very end, there's just bad science after bad science, where they obviously had this very intricate escape fight scene set up, and they're like, well, this has to happen, this has to happen, this has to happen, so this is how we get all those things together. And it was not the best at all. I still like Hollow Man, but you've got to accept some fucking bad with the good there. Okay, Bored to Death. Normally, like, even the X's, which 4 seasons, which is a lot, and I recognize that. And I don't suggest you try for all 4 seasons in one sitting unless you were just sick. But these are 25-minute episodes. Bored to Death. I think it's only on HBO now, if I'm correct. These are 8-episode seasons. There are 3 seasons, so 24 episodes overall. 20 to 30 minutes apiece. I think it varies a little bit. Zach Galifianakis, man, what's the guy's name? Jonathan Ames? No. Oh, maybe that is Jonathan Ames. No, Jason Schwartzman, that's his name. Ted Danson plays the older guy. Zach Galifianakis plays Ray Houston. Isla Fisher shows up at one point. Heather Burns, if you watched Miss Congeniality, she was Miss Connecticut. It's like Sandra Bullock's best friend. Really good actress. She does pretty good in this. I could not imagine where these scenes that they come up with, but imagine Castle. A writer wants to become a private detective, mostly for research, I guess, and to help people out and to have a little bit of adventure in his life, but without any of the police involved. So if Rick Castle was a poor, penniless author, this is what it would be like, where he's just a pot-smoking college student. It's just, it gets worse every time I say it, but it's actually really funny. It sets up a lot of good scenarios. I'm not a fan of like pot and drinking humor, but like they use it as a good base. The beginning of the series entirely is Jason Schwartzman's girlfriend, who is actually Juno's best friend. I'm sorry, Ellen Page's character in Juno, her character's best friend is played by the same girl who plays his ex-girlfriend, and she does a pretty good job as well for the smaller part that she has. But like it's 3 seasons of good. Zach Galifianakis does so much better when he's playing a more serious role, even if it is still funny, because there's a lot of drama in this, but there's still a lot to laugh at as well. And it turns out like that Jason Schwartzman ends up dragging his best friend and his boss in some of these cases, and hilarity ensues. It's really good stuff. Okay, so MTV.com. Some of the rest of this is going to go pretty quickly. Scream. It looks like we're coming up on the end of the season already, which is weird. Which I don't know how that works. And I don't remember where I saw that, but these are 40-minute episodes. Episode 9 is the most current one. It aired on the 25th. If you do not have cable or whatever this is, if you're just watching via MTV.com, let's say it that way, because it's how it should be to a degree. Only episode 5 is available now. I still have to watch that because I've seen up to episode 4 at this point. I'm really excited for the next one. It's going to be good. But episode 9, they've released up to 9, and I don't know how many episodes they're going to do, but I can't imagine it's going to be long, and I have no idea what they're going to do for a second season if they continue on. I would assume they go to a new town with a new cast, and that would be the way to do it, but I don't know. So we're going to put that over there with Spooksville. Scream Queens. This is the thing that was confusing me. I actually went to find the Scream series based on Scream Queens because I recognized Emma Roberts, who was actually in Scream 4. I think she was the main character. So why did they do this? Okay, hold on. I'm going to screen share because I really want to point this out. I think I just want this. Yeah. Okay, so here's Emma Roberts. I'm assuming she's supposed to be looking sexy with blood all down her hand. Like that either does it for you or doesn't. And like, I'm still seeing this all independent, and that's nice and all. But I look at this, and like, this is not great. Like, that's not sexy like that. Like, not just her hand and not just weirdly touching her lip. And then this advertisement, I didn't even see this earlier. Like, it's neat. There's a little face in the bubble gum, but she even has that fucking little smirk afterwards. We're watching Emma Roberts blow. Ha ha. That's nice and funny. And like, it's gonna pop. And like, she's gonna have that. And you're very focused on her mouth at that point. So, apparently, okay, and this is what I was upset about earlier. Apparently, Switched at Birth and Pretty Little Liars have been going on for a while now. I'm very upset because I love both those shows. They're on abcfamily.go.com, and I get made fun of because I'm a guy who likes ABC Family. I like these two shows. I don't care what channel you put them on. Put them back on Wii. I used to watch Women's Entertainment because that's where Two Guys and a Girl was. That's where Taya Leone had a show, and I can't remember the other one. There's the one with just the teacher from Easy A had a show. And I liked all three of those shows, so I watched Women's Entertainment. I don't care. I give a damn. But Switched at Birth is going on. It looks like they're coming towards the end. I mean, they're 12 episodes in for Switched at Birth. They're 10 episodes in for Pretty Little Liars. I'm going to get caught up on these. That's going to happen. I don't know when I'm going to find time to watch all the stuff I want to watch. Maybe I got to space it out a little bit, catch up on like one this week, do some RPG shows, and then slash the other one. Something I don't know if I knew or not. It's blowing me away. Make It or Break It was like a fantastic thing. I definitely have seen the first season, but season 2's on abcfamily.go.com, and I really don't know where I left off for season 1. So I don't know where like I would even come in at season 2 if I came in at all. I just remember really like the show. Yes, fine, pretty girls, whatever. There's a lot more to it than that. But if you like girls in tight outfits that are fucking athletic as hell, yeah, you're go. I'm just looking at these thumbnails and these titles, and I don't remember. I know at one point there's an event that happens and it causes them to all wear the same uniform, and I'm seeing that, but then like afterwards they're not having the same uniform. So I don't know. I think that might be one I'd have to go back and catch up on all the drama in the first season so that I have context for the second season. And it's been a while since I've done that. So this is not one that I'm going to be catching up anytime soon. Does that bring me towards the end? There's something about FF Networks. If you were a fan of The Strain, season 2 is apparently happening through FX. I don't know what that was, if that was someone knocking or not. Then there was something else that I know I want to watch. Watch Married. Married was good stuff. Louis, apparently. I don't know. I think that about wraps us up, because I have no idea what I'm aiming for next. But we've been going on quite some time here, and I want to thank you for watching. If you watched through this far, you can watch me and find me on all these wonderful things here if you need to find me. And until next time, I am Kamurai. Have a nice day.